Welcome to 30 Minutes with Workroom Tech. I'm Ceil Guglielmo, and along with Susan Woodcock, we'll be bringing you this Workroom Education podcast each month. We'll have links to Susan's blog posts, as well as accompanying videos to help you with your custom window treatment and soft furnishings education. 30 Minutes with Workroom Tech is sponsored by Workroom Tech, and you can learn all about their hands-on classes in Tryon, North Carolina by visiting workroomtech.com. Hi, Susan. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. And looking forward to our discussion today.
I am too. It's we are recording this on a Monday morning, so there's a little bit of irony there that we're having this discussion, but I find this really fascinating. So I'm really curious how you came up with this idea to talk about and the concept behind it.
Yeah, and it's exactly when we're recording this is exactly 2 weeks before Custom Workroom Conference starts. So we're talking about energy, and I'm definitely identify with this topic today. Lack of energy.
Lack of, yeah. So it's a Monday morning, 2 weeks before CWC, and we're going to talk about energy.
Yeah. So a little background on how I came up about this topic was Sunday before last. I was sitting in the pew at church before the church for worship service started, and this nice new friend sat down next to me, and she was looking through the worship bulletin, and in the back they've got all these activities and ministries and groups you can join, and they're all worthwhile and a good purpose. And she said, "Are you doing any of these things?" And I was just like shrugged and said, I hate to say I'm so busy, because there's time to do worthy things too, right?
Right. And we wear busy like a badge of honor sometimes, and it's not necessarily.
Yes. So I just kind of shrugged. And she said, I would like to do a lot of these things, but I only have so many energy coins to spend. And I have to be careful about what I say yes to. And I mean, my mind was blown, and I was like, I could just leave church right now. I've got everything I needed.
I got the lesson I needed.
Prayers and the sermon.
Yep.
That's what I needed today, was to sit down next to Margaret and have her tell me that. And so it just stuck with me, and I kept thinking about it. And I thought, well, maybe she got that from a book or something, because as we've talked about before we started the podcast, there's the spoon theory, especially for people that are going through illnesses and have health issues to try to manage how much energy they spend in a day.
Right.
But I thought energy coins, maybe that's from some kind of business book or something. So I did a Google search. And the first thing that came up was cryptocurrency.
And you didn't think she meant that, right?
Oh, no. And boy, is that weird. Sorry to all the cryptocurrency fans out there, but it's just not me.
Right.
So I went to AI and put in, I only have so many energy coins to spend. And what came up from AI was all this advice for the gaming world, the mobile gaming. And of course, I know nothing about that either. But the results, the little bullet points sounded just like our businesses.
Oh, that's fascinating.
I was like, oh, wait, maybe we are kind of playing a game with our energy coins in our businesses. So I printed that out. I sent that to you, and I know you're probably going, "What in the world is this?"
No, I wasn't actually. I was fascinated by it.
So we're going to talk today about how do we spend our energy coins in our businesses, and do we have anything left over at the end of the day for our families, right?
Right.
So on the AI overview, it said, the query, I only have so many energy coins, suggest a mobile game with limited resources. This is a common challenge in many games. To use energy coins effectively, consider these strategies. So we have 6 strategies we're going to consider for our workroom game. The first one is prioritize key tasks. Focus on the most important goals. And for gaming, such as a main story quest or timed events, which yield the best rewards. Spend energy on these first rather than on repetitive or low value tasks. And I can see that with my business in the like at the beginning of the day. It's like, what are my key tasks? What do I need to get done today?
Right.
My
What's
two.
most important?
Mm-hmm. And when you get those things done, it's just such a feeling of accomplishment, and especially when you get them done early in the day for me.
Right.
And
Yeah. And I do think that knowing your best time of the day is important,
mm,
but as you just said, there's such a nice feeling of accomplishing something, and that low value tasks or repetitive tasks don't require as much energy, whether brain or physical energy. If we can do them after we've had like a boost, a dopamine boost of, wow, look at what I got done,
right.
then I think we are just more productive.
Yeah. And prioritizing is hard. And we're going to talk about distractions and things that use our energy. But sometimes my priority is fabrication priority.
Mhm.
I have so many drapery widths I want to get done today. So it might not be something I can knock off the list first thing in the morning. It might be an
Right.
all-day priority.
Right.
And that really takes a lot of focus.
Yes.
It's easy it's easy to at lunch, start looking at Facebook and then go down the rabbit hole, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So prioritize, and how many energy coins, am I using up that day? I might need let's say we have 10 energy coins. I might be using 8 of them to get my draperies done.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you decide, Susan? First of all, I think we have to play with this concept a little bit to understand how
Mm,
it affects us. But do you use all 10 coins?
right. Right.
And then what do you have left for yourself and your family at the end of the day? Whether you are your own family or you have other people counting on you, like, do you use all 10?
Yeah. Or maybe if you have kids and they're coming home from school or whatever, you only can spend 5 coins on your business. You need 5 coins of your
I've
energy for the rest of your day.
I've talked with a couple of people about that recently, and there have been a few people in some library meetings that have discussed the fact that their children are coming home at a certain time, and that is the end of their workday.
Mhm.
And they are no longer trying to do any more, whereas they were struggling with it before. Like, all right, well, just another 15 minutes. Now it's a firm stop. My kids are home. I'm not working. They may pick up some work later in the evening doing some quotes or something like that. But it's a firm, I'm done. And
Mhm.
that's the only way they can count on knowing how much time they have, because it's unpredictable when other people come into your space.
Yeah. And, I'm just as we're sort of thinking about this and brainstorming, it's you have so many energy coins for your business between these hours,
Mhm.
and try to use them wisely and divide up your time. So if you work an 8-hour day, maybe you have 8 energy coins. So there's like an hour each hour, or, how many are you spending? Yeah. I don't know. It's fun to think about, but
Yeah.
it's not solid in my mind yet. So let's talk about
Right,
it.
right.
Go to the
Okay.
next. So the next one is find alternative energy sources. Check for ways to get energy besides spending coins. So many games offer free energy from daily rewards,
Okay.
um, leveling up, events, and quests. I love the daily rewards one.
I do too. And I think if you think about that, you can plan ahead of time for some rewards, and they can be my rewards tend to go towards chocolate and food.
Yeah,
Which
me too.
yeah, chocolate is wonderful, but maybe it's also just putting your feet up for a few minutes with a cup of tea or coffee or whatever it is that you like to treat yourself with, and not working for 15 minutes. I don't know how many of us actually schedule breaks into our day.
That's Oh, great point. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, if you work for someone else, you have a planned lunchtime and you have at least 2 15-minute breaks a day. How many of us actually take those breaks? I feel guilty if I do that, even when I'm here by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. And, I've learned, and we've talked about this, and I know Elke Horn is like a proponent of like scheduling your vacations and stuff first,
Yes.
getting your year in advance calendar and putting in all of those, even if, and I did that last year in July. We didn't even have plans. I just blocked off time just because,
Okay.
but I don't do it with my day.
Right. So a mini vacation during the day.
Oh, I'm going to do that today. I'm going to put
I
in
am
my
too,
phone.
Susan.
All right. I'm going to put two 15-minute breaks. And of course, I'll take a lunch break.
Yeah.
But yeah, morning and afternoon breaks.
All right. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You eat your lunch at your desk?
No, I eat it at the lunch table, but I usually have my laptop with me.
Okay, that's eating at your desk, Susan.
Eating at the sewing machine.
I do not eat at the sewing machine. I will allow myself to bring drinks downstairs, never alcoholic drinks, but coffee, water. But I often eat at my desk, and that is not a healthy practice. And it also doesn't give me a break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
I think, all right, we're going to do daily rewards, and that's going to include scheduling breaks.
Okay.
Even if it's just a stretch,
Yeah.
that you step away. And I know I always have to rest my eyes because my eyes are getting so bad, but uh,
Same.
it's like taking my glasses off and just looking long distance and rest.
Mhm.
So that's all right. See, look, we've already doing something good for ourselves today.
And
So
also getting outside. It's a
yeah,
beautiful time of the year when we're recording this, and normally I go out for a walk first thing in the morning, but sometimes just stepping outside on my deck for 15 minutes, just to hear the birds and see the sky. I don't do it enough, and I have the ability to do it, and I think that's what frustrates me.
the leveling up, I'm not sure how that would apply to our workroom businesses, except maybe if you finish something ahead of time. Like you set a goal and you're like, it's going to
Okay.
take, this many energy coins to finish this job in 2 hours. And you did it in an hour. And it's like, wow, I just like got a full energy refill.
Right. And I think, like we were saying, you can get a dopamine hit from finishing something. So, but I think the question is going to be for the overachievers among us. If you finished your job ahead of time, are you jumping into the next one? Or are you taking a moment to reset, get your table ready, clean up your work area before you start the next thing and say, okay, great, I finished this ahead of time. I'll be ready to start this tomorrow. But do we rush right into the next thing? So think of it as leveling up. You gained a break or a reset.
And
We're
reset.
already
Yeah.
taking breaks. So it's a reset. Now it's
All
time to
right.
prepare for the next job.
Right, I'm going to write that down. We're doing breaks and resets. I'm going to so come up with a mobile workroom game now.
I know.
And
My
then
son-in-law's a gamer. I should talk to
oh,
him.
perfect. Events and quest. Events, mini games, or side quest offer energy rewards.
Okay, this is easy. This
Oh,
is
what?
easy.
Oh, go, because I was thinking
Okay.
after work. I wasn't thinking during work.
No, I'm thinking you have to schedule things like trips to CWC, meetings with your workroom groups or WCAA members, um, schedule conversations with colleagues that you enjoy spending time with. Hello, what we're doing right now. Because I walk away from 90% of those things energized.
Yeah.
And we've talked about needing a little bit of downtime after CWC because we've poured weeks of preparation. Even if you're an attendee, there's still excitement and energy that goes towards getting there and planning it and paying for it and all of that. You as the coordinator have lots and lots and lots of things to do. Me as a vendor and a teacher, I have things to do. So, but it's energetic. And
Mhm.
and even for introverts, having a chance to connect with other people who do what you do and love what they do can be really energizing. if you know where to spend your energy coins.
Right, right. And I know a lot of, and I do too, a lot of us have like little mini workroom friend groups,
Yes.
whether they're
Yes.
by text or on a Facebook, private Facebook group. And I think sometimes that's like a little energy boost when you can share something, like you made something and just want to share it with some friends
Yeah.
that are, oh, that's awesome. I love it. And you get this little, pump, pumped
Yes.
up a little bit and just being able to share that, that's fun.
Especially if it's something that's been challenging and you
Yeah.
figure it out and get it done, that is very energizing. And sharing it with somebody who understands it. Besides my poor husband, he goes, "Oh, that's nice, Ceil."
Yeah. And the next one is join a guild or community. Many games offer guild rewards for group achievements. Joining a group can unlock rewards that help with energy. Advice from experienced players is also available in communities on platforms like Facebook or Reddit. And yeah, this is like the Curtains of Soft Furnishings Resource
We
Library.
have
Right?
that. We have a place for you to talk about these things. And I do think, so my son-in-law is a gamer, and my daughters and my future son-in-law all do some gaming. But my son-in-law, like, he's a little mini celebrity. When he goes to a tournament, people will go out of their way to go to meet him. But they talk about the community of gaming and how they reach out to each other. He had people he had only met once or twice that he wanted to come to their wedding because they were such an important part of his life. And I thought
Wow.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
But they all get feedback from each other. And oh, if you grab that coin early on, or if you grab that whatever in the game early on, then you'll be able to unlock this. So you wouldn't know that if somebody didn't share it with you. And that's what communities are for.
I just love that advice from experienced players.
So that's
Love
interesting,
that.
Susan, because we have a lot of that in the library, in the
Yeah.
forum. And for those of you listening who have been around for a little while, Merlin was very active on the Drapery Pro forum, and she's still answering questions in the library, which is so wonderful of her. And years and years and years of experience that she's happy to share with people, including doing diagrams and room designs and things like that, because it keeps her hands in it and she loves doing it.
Yeah, I just love that image of it being like a community, a game community.
Yes, I do
Just
too.
makes it more fun. And it is business, but we also build these relationships with people that are so important.
Hmm.
And to get to see people in person at CWC in 2 weeks. I've been waiting a whole year to see some people again,
Yeah.
right? You only get to see them once a year. And to thank people for their help or their support and
Yeah.
in person. I mean, it's really important. So yeah, that is a big boost, and that will certainly give me lots of energy.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
And the next three are spending strategies for your energy coins. And the first is save for a big push. Save coins for a specific important goal instead of spending them randomly. So I was sort of looking at that as sort of saving your energy for focused work,
Right.
not just random work, which we get caught up in. I think it's really easy to try to put out fires.
Hmm.
So you have focused work. I want to get this accomplished today, but then you get an email or a text or something, and then you feel like you need to answer that person right away. And then you get distracted, and then you're looking up something, contacting a vendor to see why something hadn't been delivered, and you just lose your focus.
Yes.
So that's how I was trying to sort of save all your energy for one major focused project. Maybe you have a
Mhm.
deadline and you need to get this job done.
Right.
I don't know how
I,
you do that.
I like that concept. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of good financial sense. Um, have setting some money aside for when you need extra money. But I
Mhm.
think energy is not quite as easy to save. So I think that's where we need to know ourselves and when is our best time of the day.
Yeah.
And if I did my focused work and I didn't allow myself to get distracted, I probably have saved myself some energy. And then when I've set a timer or done whatever works best for me in my focus time, then I still have some energy to do those other things.
Mhm.
Whereas if my focus time was, okay, I'm going to finish up my CWC class this morning, and 50 minutes later, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I went down a rabbit hole of how do I set my iPhone to do this? And I have no energy left and I haven't accomplished anything.
Yeah. And
So I think it's that focus that is important. And as you said, like not trying to do too many things at once.
yeah. And knowing when something's coming up, like you're going to have a day where you're going to be it's going to be a physically demanding day. I just over the weekend I was cutting out bump interlining. The
Oh
poultice
my.
knife, you know, it's giant. It's physical.
Yes.
So you sort of have to save up your energy for that. And then like for me, working towards customer room conference in 2 weeks, this is my 2 weeks to take care of myself. Well, I should take care of myself all the time,
You
but
should, but yeah.
really paying attention to getting plenty of sleep,
Mhm.
eating well, exercising, taking breaks, enjoying the beautiful weather outside, because it is really exhausting
Yes.
conference. So I don't want to be wiped out when I get there.
Right,
Save
right.
up my energy.
To be able to enjoy the fruits of your labors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then the next one is calculate the cost to benefit before spending your energy coins. Consider whether the reward is worth the cost. Determine if it's truly valuable or if there's a better item to save your coins for.
Yeah, this intrigues me a little bit because I don't think I have spent enough time thinking about my energy that way.
Mhm.
And that, well, think about wasting your energy spinning your wheels on the internet, or we've talked about imposter syndrome and comparison. So
Right.
if I spend a whole lot of energy looking to see how much better someone else is making Roman shades than me, then I have to go make Roman shades. I probably don't have a lot of good energy for those Roman shades. So it may not be as direct as that sounds, but I think that's another, like, is it worth me spending some of my energy looking at Instagram and then starting to feel badly about myself before I have important work I have to do?
Yeah, I never would have gone there with that, but that is so spot on, the comparing to other people and what other people are doing.
It takes energy to do that.
Easy. Yeah. And is that well spent?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or my famous procrastinating. If that's
Well,
where use of my energy, my workroom might get cleaned up, my desk might get cleaned up, but have I accomplished what I really needed to do? Probably not, and then I'm tired.
well, yeah, overanalyzing could also be spending time that wasn't well spent.
Right, and energy, because even if I'm just sitting over analyzing, my brain is working and it wears me out.
Yeah.
That's a good point. All right, I'm adding another thing to my list. Stop over analyzing.
Well, I mean, I just see that a lot with students when they roll their fabric out and they just can't cut the fabric. They have to pat it and then think about it and roll it out again and look at it again and then measure and then and of course they're new, so it makes it even more difficult to make that cut.
Right.
But I find myself doing that too. It's like, you know, because we know once we cut it, we can't return it.
Can't
Right.
uncut it.
Yeah, so there's sort of a balance there between overanalyzing and just
Right.
being smart. But, you can be not very efficient. So
Yeah.
like when I'm doing a quote for a job, I'm making notes about what the cut length is going to be and all that. So I have that already. You
Right.
have to refigure that every time. So if I get a job in and then I'm refiguring the cut length and replanning things, and
Spending energy. Yeah.
that's energy. So yeah, efficiency is a very good thing. I'm not always good at it.
Um, you know that I've been working on the pin fitted slipcover with Janelle. It was my pick a project challenge for 2025, and I have missed the deadline, but all for good reasons. But I remember trying to think about this is a different process for me. And Janelle said something that really stuck with me. You should trust that you've put your pins in the right place.
Hmm.
And when we were at the Slipcover Summit last year, I remember her saying several times, you're not going to keep taking this off and on. Trust that you've done it right. And you're eliminating, I mean, taking a slipcover off and on takes time and energy, especially if it's a fairly big piece of furniture. So if you trust yourself and you've done it properly, then you're saving yourself energy. Trust yourself that you got the cut length right the first time because you've done this a few times.
Yeah.
And could you make a mistake? Of course you could. But checking it 7 times is not efficient and it does wear you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's a good one. I that calculating the cost benefit and trusting yourself so you don't overanalyze is really important.
Yeah. And it just makes you stop and think, like again,
Yeah.
reset your brain. Like, okay, what am I doing here?
Mhm.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
My mother always said, take the bull by the horns,
Yeah. Yes.
And the last one is, and I love this one, avoid impulse purchases. Spending your energy coins when impatient often leads to inefficient spending. Spending coins when impatient often leads to inefficient spending. Oh, are we ever impatient?
Oh no, Susan, not
No.
me. Okay. Again, this goes back to the slipcover. Janelle was teaching me some things and I was watching her and thinking how patient she was with me. I would have just grabbed the scissors and done it myself.
Right.
She had to save her energy to teach me.
Yeah.
And if
Oh,
first of all, if she'd grabbed the scissors, I wouldn't have learned anything. Secondly, it was so refreshing to me to have somebody not take over. She was allowing me to learn. And if I had made a mistake, I would have learned from that mistake.
yeah.
Fortunately, I didn't, but it was just being impatient can really be costly on many levels. But I think for me personally, it makes me jump in and do things that I don't need to be doing.
Yeah. It's really, this could go both ways. Avoid impulse purchases, financially with your money,
Yes, absolutely.
as well as your energy. And I've never thought to put that together with energy, like
Agreed.
impulse spending of my energy. And it happens a lot with social media, of course.
Mhm.
You see something and you want to help somebody and you start answering that, and then you go down a rabbit hole of, oh, I wonder if I can find an article to help them, or
Yes, I do that all the time.
yeah, that's an impulse purchase.
But back to your friend's comments at church, that would be an impulse to say, "Oh, I really should help out with this." And if you are not really thinking about how many things are already on your plate, I mean, right now, if someone were to say to you, Susan, in a week and a half, could you give us a day of your time to feed people who are have been affected by some natural disaster? You would love to be able to say yes, but you can't
Yeah.
because a week and a half from now, you'll be packing up and leaving for a conference that many people are depending on you from. I probably shouldn't have picked feeding.
Thanks, big.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have picked feeding people, but you need to know where your energy is, and that would be an impulse to say yes.
Yeah.
And then that day would arrive and you would say, "What was I thinking? I don't have the energy to do all of the things I need to do today."
Yeah.
And I
And
have people depending on me either way.
yeah, when you were saying that, I just made a note of, what will people think? We're often thinking about what are people thinking about us, and usually they're not thinking about us. That's all
Yes.
I said.
Yes.
But like, I'm not helping with that. And it's a really great thing to do. What are people going to think about me? And it's
Yeah,
not.
it's not about me. And Susan, I was raised in that my mother was very much, well, what will people think? Like, behave yourself, because what would people think? And so I've worked really hard to not have that be my guiding focus. But there have been a couple times recently where Bill and I went to leave the house and we like forgot something, come back, and forgot something, come back. Bill says, our neighbors must think we're nuts. I said, our neighbors aren't looking at us. They
Right.
don't even know that we're back for the third time. And by the way, I'm more concerned about why didn't we remember these things and what our neighbors think about us? But they're really not. People, we're too busy worrying about ourselves.
Yeah, I've heard workrooms say many times, different workrooms,
Mhm.
I'm going to take some days off, and what do I tell my designers or my customers? What? Tell them you're taking some days off.
Don't just take it.
What? It's none of their business.
It's really interesting that you brought that up, Susan, because when we were talking early on about like taking the breaks and um, taking care of ourselves, I still feel like that's one of the things that we need to work on in our industry is feeling like we're accountable for things. This is our business.
Right.
And I'm constantly trying to encourage people to lengthen their delivery times, to give themselves a little bit of room. We don't need to be working through weekends and through, till 2 o'clock in the morning. We need to set some standards for when things are due so that they fit with our lives. And back to the discussion about women, it happened to be women who were saying, my workday has to end when my kids come home.
Yeah.
That's not a discussion you have to have with your customers or your designers. If a designer calls you at 4 o'clock, you don't answer the phone.
Right.
And if she leaves a message, you might be able to text her back and say, not available right now. I'll call you tomorrow. And what you're not available from is no one's business.
Yeah. And
What's
there's an
keeping you
impulse,
unavailable?
you have an impulse to spend that energy to answer them right away,
Yes.
to give them a reason why, to explain,
Yes.
and you don't need to.
No.
And that's part of people pleasing. We
Yeah.
all want everybody to like us, and we don't want to disappoint anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But if you set an expectation ahead of time, it's okay. And
Yeah.
I'm constantly reminding students, when you work with people, you want to work with people that respect you and want you to be happy and successful.
Yes.
Don't want to work for people. You don't want people, you don't want your customers to want you to be working till midnight and tired and not spending time with your family and not taking time off and not making a good living. I mean,
Right.
don't work for those people.
Right. Please don't work for those people.
So when I have a vacation plan, and I usually let the designers I work with know so that they're not shipping stuff here.
Right.
They're like, "Oh, fun. Where are you going?
Yeah.
I hope you have a great trip. Tell me about it. We can't wait to see pictures."
Mm-hmm.
They're not saying, but you've got this. Now, you have to be a responsible business person, and you don't promise somebody a delivery and then take a vacation instead.
Of
They'll
course.
rearrange that.
But you owe it to yourself
Yeah.
to take care of yourself.
Yeah, so avoid those impulses to spend your energy where the people aren't expecting it.
Yeah.
They're not expecting you, if you have 3 kids, to be working on their project at supper time and bedtime.
Right. And I know that a lot of this industry started out under that premise, and a lot of us would get our kids to bed and then keep working. But there was a point many years ago that I realized I just couldn't function anymore if I did that.
Yeah.
I wasn't who I wanted to be with my children in the morning because I was cranky and tired, and I wasn't producing the kind of work I wanted to
Yeah.
because
And
I
I
was cranky and tired.
don't have children, and nobody should expect me to be working during dinner time or.
Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
And we've I think that's one of the things we lose as entrepreneurs. We mentioned earlier, if you worked for someone else, you would get timed lunch breaks, you would get timed breaks, but we work for ourselves and we have very different expectations. And I think one of the things we probably should be asking ourselves is, would we treat an employee the same way we treat ourselves? Would we
Right.
expect the same number of coins from our employees as we do from ourselves? Probably not.
I re-listened yesterday to our podcast um, about work ethic. What is your work?
Mhm.
Because I was thinking about that with this topic of
Yeah, it ties in.
being and workaholics, and so it sort of ties in with this. So I'll put a link to that in the blog if
Okay.
people listen to the work ethic
Yeah,
podcast.
I'll have to re-listen to that.
Good one.
I feel like those of us who were raised with a very strong work ethic, I know you were, I know I was, what my parents expected of us every day, whether it was from doing chores or our homework or anything else. And I think that's all really important. But again, there's a little piece of that goes back to what would people think? What would people think if I didn't work this hard?
Right.
I don't know, but they're probably not thinking about me enough for that to be an issue.
My
Yeah,
family is a competition. No, I worked, this many hours. I worked
yeah,
this many.
yeah.
But as we're getting older, we're getting better about that,
Yes.
recognizing that retirement and rest is important. But yeah, it's can be a competition among small business owners too.
Yes. I definitely see that. And it's interesting. I see couples sometimes having that. Well, my day was worse than yours, and I worked harder. And I don't, that's not a badge I want to wear.
No.
Would really rather feel good about what I accomplished, not compare it to somebody else, and have time for things that recharge me or energize me at the end of the day instead of being so spent that I don't have the energy to do anything else.
Yeah. So that impulse one, I think that's a really important one. Just that jump, that feeling like you have to jump in and solve an issue
Yeah.
immediately. Yeah, that's a really good one. I'm going to think more about that. And I hope that all of these topics are sort of giving people just a chance to, as they're listening, to go, oh yeah, I recognize I do that.
Yeah.
Or maybe I
I
need more time.
I don't think either of us came into this conversation thinking we had the answers for everybody.
We
It
don't
was
have
more like,
the
this is
answers.
really interesting. I need to think about this a bit more.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Susan, recently I interviewed Bree Bacon, who wrote Your Elite Energy. And the book was really fascinating because it talks about a lot of these things, not based on the coin idea, but the idea that we have a limited amount of energy. And if we use it all up, then it's not there for things that bring us joy in our lives. And if we wake up every day and all we're thinking about is what work we have to do until we go to bed at night, that does not sound like a life of joy. And it's not a life of service if that's your belief system. You're not serving anybody if you're so exhausted at the end of the day. And if you can't do things with a smile on your face because you've used all your energy coins. And I think it's really important for people to remember that.
Yeah, it's not good for you. It's not good for your business. It's not good for your customers or your family. I mean, it's just
No.
all the way around. So to sort of wrap up our 30 minutes with Workroom Tech today, um, recognize that you have limited energy resources. Prioritize how you use your time and energy, how you
Yeah.
spend energy coins, and be sure to save some coins for yourself and your family at the end of the day.
I love this discussion, Susan. I was so excited when I read through it. And I really, as I get older and admit that I don't have some of the amounts of energy I used to have, it really is important for me to save some of it and to be available to my family and to myself. I think that's really important. And to have some energy. You and I have talked about making time to do things that bring us happiness. And I
Mhm.
have not always been doing that. So I want to save some coins for that for sure.
Yeah, Ceil, save some coins for your art supplies.
You were know exactly what I was thinking about, and I still haven't done anything with it. So, all right, I'm going to do that. I'm adding that to the list.
All right, scheduling at my breaks.
But this is a good list. This isn't a. This list does not use any of my coins. It makes me. How can I use them better? Because sometimes lists will do that to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I have to do all that?
Well, this was fun. Thanks.
This
Appreciate you
was
taking the
fun,
time.
Susan. Thank you for coming up with the idea. And thanks to your friend for coming up with that phrase and mentioning to you.
Yeah, I can't wait to tell her that was a whole podcast episode.
Yeah. Thanks, Susan.
Right, bye.
This was really a fun podcast to record with Susan. I really love the concept of having energy coins, and I'm going to be thinking about this quite a bit. I will put a link to Susan's blog in the show notes, and I will also put a link to the podcast that Susan mentioned, as well as the podcast that I did with Bree Bacon about her book. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a great day.